Today is like talking to an old friend rather than doing a formal podcast interview because I'm talking to Lindsay Lachelle, one of my favorite nonprofit consultants, but also a huge supporter of Nonprofit Hub, the teacher of our marketing boot camp. Lindsay, how are you?
Oh, great, Katie. I'm so happy to be talking to you today. I cannot wait for Cause Camp. Can I just say? I'm just going to keep talking about it the whole time because I cannot wait for Cause Camp. How are you?
I cannot wait for Cause Camp either. I also cannot wait for Cause Camp to be over, but I share in the bliss of anticipation.
A little bit of
Especially for
anticipation.
your segment. I'm super excited about that, and we will dig into that a little bit. Before we get going too much, though, for our audience that isn't familiar with you, give us some background, how you work with nonprofits, and you've had a pretty big business change recently, so update us on that.
Yeah, thanks. I started a marketing agency in 2015, and the point of it was basically we want to use our powers for good. So it was sort of a standard content marketing agency, but we focused on purpose-driven clients and nonprofits and stuff like that. And that was awesome. We were B Corp, super proud of that. But pandemics sometimes have an impact on business and certainly on marketing dollars. And that I got to take some responsibility myself. There was sort of the dominoes were all lined up, and the pandemic really was sort of like the last nail in the coffin on that business. But the thing that was amazing about it was over the last couple of years of running the business, I had started teaching this nonprofit marketing boot camp because, again, like, wanted to use my powers for good. So it was like a 1 day build your whole marketing plan in 1 day, and it was for like very small, very new nonprofits. We were doing it pro bono. It was wonderful. That's how we first got connected, because I was working with Nonprofit Hub on that.
Yeah.
um, so what happened was, as the agency clients started to go away, I started to have this other opportunity where people were coming to me and saying, I don't want you to do the marketing for us. We just need you to give us the plan. And so I took that curriculum that I had developed to teach the boot camp and turned it into a consulting model. And I started to shop that around and see how that went. And people responded very well to it. So I left behind Diamond and Branch, which is the agency brand. My new brand is Open Lines Marketing. And all I do now is a bunch of different ways of helping people adopt the Open Lines Marketing framework into their own organizations to make sure that they get really the most efficient and empathetic marketing that is available.
Well, I love that. You know kind of my background, but I come from running a nonprofit, usually small to mid-sized nonprofits, and I also come from the agency background. And I have to tell you, one of the things that killed me on the agency side was sometimes, not all agencies, but sometimes agencies create a trap where they provide these excellent creatives, these excellent campaigns that the nonprofit can never continue without agency support. So I wouldn't say this is a shift as much as an evolution of your business. This is wonderful. I love that you're giving the power back to the nonprofit.
Yeah, I mean, I am sort of one of my operating theories is that empathy and strategy can be a replacement for resources. It can be a replacement for, the organizations that get the most benefit from the Open Lines framework are the ones that have limited resources, either cash or skills or whatever that is, right? Because it's built to sort of adjust, like, understand the audience so well that you can meet them where you're at, that you can figure out what they need. And so, yeah, I mean, it one of the things, and this is another thing, when I talk about what I'm doing at Open Lines, I do it as a consultant, I do it as online courses, I'm writing a book. Like, my goal is to make it as available as possible, as cheap as possible, right? The boot camps are that we do together, it's like the value for those things, if you take the lessons and you do the work, it's tremendous. And so I just want to get it out there, right? I just want to see
Yeah, yeah.
how many people can benefit from this, because their work is the important thing. I'm just trying to make, help them get what they need to do the thing they're here to do. So the really, like, you know, I call myself a marketing activist because that is the way that I'm thinking about this. Yes, I am just a marketer. I teach marketing. I'm a consultant, whatever.
Never
But
say just.
but the way that I'm directing that energy is in a way that other people are going to create the impact, right? Through their
Yeah.
work, through their success. So that's what I'm fired up about.
Shoot, don't we all want a marketing activist? I do. I think it's brilliant. And I know the marketing boot camps you've ran for us, I mean, the reviews are just glowing. People come back, I think, a little weary because it's intense,
It's called a boot camp for a reason. Like I
but
thought a lot about that name.
charged and equipped. And like, we work with so many different vendors, and marketing is a hard thing. It's hard to give people a guarantee of success. And you really can't, because so much is up to the individual. But we have heard back from so many nonprofits that they felt like this really was a game changer for them. So you're on to something. We are so delighted that you're running boot camp again this year. And audience, I will tell you at this moment, there is one pass left.
Is
Um,
we're that close to sold out?
we are that close to sold out, and we did not advertise this year, which is kind of shocking. I think a lot of it is word of mouth and your reputation. I mean, this has just got kind of grown a life of its own. It's
That's
exciting.
super exciting because we're doing 2 rounds this time too.
Yeah. Well, okay. So talk to us a little bit about so we're doing marketing boot camp, and it's an intensive session separate from cause camp,
After, right?
but you're also running a track at cause camp for marketing planning and prioritization. And I have to say, like, that title speaks to me. Oh my goodness. Because I feel like we have marketing options, like just oodles of them, but we don't know what to prioritize and we don't know how to get it all done. And I'm thinking this is going to speak to other nonprofits too, but tell us a little bit about what you're going to cover in that.
Yeah, I will. I think the problem I'm trying to solve here is, this will sound really familiar. It's true for so many of my clients, right? Is when they sit down and they think about what they need to do for their marketing, it feels like the sky's the limit, right? It feels like you have to be on all of the social media channels, and you have to be doing email newsletters, and you have to be doing this, you have to be doing that. And that's just not true. So the thing I'm trying to do is help the participants sort of like narrow their focus, get a little bit more strategic, a little bit more concrete, right? Digging into the, like, what are your people actually need from you, and what do you
Mhm.
actually need from them, and how can we make sure that we are only showing up in the places that are going to matter to our organization and to that relationship. So it's like the nitty gritty of it is, we're gonna, start with some exercises, understanding who your people are, and why we need to be really thoughtful and responsive to them, and
Yeah.
then sort of blow that out into, like, I have a bunch of like templates and tools and all that kind of stuff that can really help not just organize and plan, but also get buy-in, right? I understand that a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm talking to a marketer and giving them permission to tell their ED, we're not going to use Facebook anymore, and here's why, right? Like, that's totally cool, and I'm down. And so I understand that there's a couple of different layers of what needs to happen in order for an organization to adjust their marketing.
Well, in a sector where capacity is like the number one issue, this is brilliant. And I think it's timely. It's funny you mentioned Facebook, because one of our partner organizations, another educational institution, they just pulled out of Facebook.
Yep.
They looked at the ROI and decided this doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I coach a lot of my clients. I really need to write more about it. I have like one tiny little case study about this on LinkedIn, for the first big nonprofit that I helped them get off of Facebook, but it's just happening more and more across my clients of all kinds and different channels too, where we sort of talk about like, okay, sure, we've decided this one isn't worth the effort, but then what? You can't just walk away from it. You can't just close the account. And so we go through this process of like putting it on ice, right? Which is to
Yeah.
understand who are the people who would find you there? How can we put permanent signals, right? Pinned posts or on Instagram, like you'll see the Open Lines Instagram. It's just a billboard. It's just a landing page. Like I have no intention of updating that. I don't know, maybe in a couple of years, who knows? But like all it does is tell you to go find me on LinkedIn. And that's a thing that like it's respectful of the audience. It's strategic about how you use your time, right? There's all kinds of different ways to do this. I can't wait. I can't wait to see more organizations reserving their resources in smart ways by getting honest about which channels are working for them.
Yeah, it's stewardship 101. I mean, it's kind of that first step to making a really successful year, a really successful marketing year.
There's no should. There's no should. Like you should respect your audience. And after that, it really there's no requirements.
Well, I can't wait. And I will tell you, I've been watching the signups. We're offering two different tracks, and one is for ministries, Christian ministries, and the other one is this marketing and planning and prioritization. And it's been shocking, like the traction it's getting. There are so many people who are leaning into that. So I'm excited. I'm a little intimidated by the word intensive. So let us know, boot camp is legit boot camp. Is this, do we need to come prepared? Like, do we need to bring our laptops? Do we need to bring a notebook? How should we come prepared?
Yeah, laptops if you got them. It is a workshop. So we're going to do this thing. I'm going to show you, we'll talk philosophy, I'll give you the exercise, and then I've got all these digital materials and templates to share. So if you want to do it in the room, you can do it in the room. Certainly you'll get the most impact from that version. Personally, I'm not a fan of dead trees, so I'm not going to bring any printed materials, but obviously all my templates are in the form of Google Docs, right? So you can just make a copy and then customize it. Obviously, somebody wants to print that out. I understand lots of people think differently with a pen and paper, no shade. So yeah, but it's like I was just looking at the curriculum and it's like, whew, 4 hours. All right, we could do this.
Well, we'll throw some breaks in there, and our audience loves tools and templates. So if you haven't signed up yet, get your tickets at cause.camp. You can also check out the boot camp on that website as well. If you are listening to us on the live stream, we're going to go ahead and unplug, and you can check out the full episode and Lindsay's full interview when it debuts on April 8th.